Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here. We got some cool Pokemon Go information to share right now. So, San Diego Comic-Con going on. We had a little bit of Niantic discussing Pokemon Go stuff. However, there are some things I want to clear up because I've been talking with a lot of friends, old friends from like high school I haven't talked to in ages because of Pokemon Go. Also, people on the street, just random people sparking Pokemon Go conversation all the time because that's how Pokemon Go works. And there's always like a split on people that feel how many generations are going to be in Pokemon Go, because it just seems like such an absurd concept. You're already feeling bombarded by just Pokemon non-stop, so being able to fit an extra almost 600 more Pokemon feels like it'd be rather challenging, because, alright, I want to catch a Pidgey, but now I can only catch Pidove and, like, Tailo and stuff. Where's the Pokemon I need? So, we're getting answers, but there's always been confirmation that there's going to be multiple generations in Pokemon, and this might have been overlooked. So we're going back to E3. Day 2, Pokemon E3 was actually, like, the plan for Pokemon Go is to launch with only Gen 1 because of Pokemon's 20th anniversary, but after that, more and more generations will be added. The goal is to have all generations of Pokemon available in the game. So it's been confirmed since E3 about that, but the thing is, so actually that was June 16th, so a little over a month, and yet a lot of people are still confused because, one, after Pokemon Sun and Moon, I don't think anyone really cared, and also with Pokemon Go kind of being around the corner, people weren't like really waiting for too much more information because we knew about a lot about the game because of the beta and everything like that. So Pokemon Go was pretty much there. So this was a little detail that kind of got left out. Also, when it came to the Nintendo press conference at E3, it was like 99% Breath of the Wild and just having people play through it. And even with a small little demo area that's 1% of the game, you know, the dozens of people going through the demo didn't discover everything. So there was a lot of gameplay there, and that's talking about a different game. But as you can see, it's already been confirmed, and then Niantic actually consulted with the Pokemon Company in order to know which Pokemon are supposed to be rare. That way, they're also rare in Pokemon Go. So there's a lot of coordination here, like, hey, there's a reason why you're not finding a lot of those Pokemon, because they're supposed to be rare, or at least a bit more uncommon than Pidgey, Caterpie, and Weedle literally being everywhere. As for the San Diego Comic-Con news, it's stepped it up quite a bit because we have things that people already knew about. If we go to the first trailer that we saw for Pokemon Go, we got to see people trading, and that was a feature that has been notably absent in this whole Pokemon Go shenanigans on the release and whatnot. We're also getting a lot of other confirmation as well, so right here, Pokemon Go players will eventually be able to fill out their collections via trades, which is very good news for people eyeing region-specific Pokemon like Kangaskhan from the other side of the world. Now, I'm wondering how it's going to keep going. You know, Niantic is indeed working on adding trading into their game as well as customizable Pokestops. This is the new one, because after the confirmation that we're going to get an update to the game every 2 weeks, which is absolutely crazy, people are like, alright, trading has to be next, and it was like somewhat confirmed, but now it's like super hardcore confirmed that we have trading coming. But the Pokestops is a bit more different, and also customizable Pokestops and more Pokemon from later generations of the Nintendo franchise. Niantic is thinking about adding the ability to breed as well, so breeding is in the works. I wonder what that would be good for, because like CP and IVs, I guess breeding just to trade would be something possible, but at the same time, since there's already eggs in the game, it's like specific eggs compared to just getting the random eggs to expand your collection. I don't see how breeding really works in Pokemon Go. It would just make the game not feel as bare bones as it is. But the customizable Pokestops was the most interesting topic of the day, because like trading, that was to be expected, but this is something that not many people saw coming. And the idea is to have something like lures that do other things than just attract Pokemon, such as turn it into a temporary Pokemon Center with healing, or also make it to where you have a certain type of Pokemon, so an electric lure that only makes electric Pokemon spawn, which would be very helpful for future generations. And that might also mean like you have generation-specific lures, that if you actually need to find some second or third generation Pokemon when we have 5 or 6 generations ready, that could be a bit of a challenge. So I see that actually working out pretty well. Then they also discussed that, you know, they're looking forward to finding interesting ways to incorporate Pokemon beyond the first generation. That's actually where it gets tricky. So they're not going to make it to where like, oh, you just find all the Pokemon at any given time, at any place, all the time. They want to find new, interesting ways of doing that. Now, that's a very big undertaking. Like, I've been reading this conversation. Like, I've been thinking for the last 30 minutes as how this would be possible, and really the only thing that came up was generation-specific lures, because unless you're doing it, like, weekly rotations of generation Pokemon, or something that's fair and balanced and still gives everyone an opportunity to eventually catch the Pokemon they want, it seems like it could be easily too cluttered, which is why people are having a hard time believing as to if Pokemon Go will have future generations, because this is not just a first generation nostalgia fan service. This is going to be a full-fledged Pokemon game in its own right, and you can even see it in the success. That before Pokemon Go came out, that the plans were already there, before it became a mind-blowing, server-crashing fest of people playing Pokemon more than ever anticipated. You know, it was an idea to already incorporate a generation, so this is just going to keep the fans on for longer and give the game a lot more, since there are some complaints about how it's almost too simple of the game, but then once you get deeper into it, it's a really crazy thing to think about. But we still don't know a lot. Like, Hank didn't have any specific timeline on when this would happen or what it would look like. So we don't know the hows, we don't know the wins, we don't know what's going to happen. And his wording suggested, however, the introduction of other Pokemon wouldn't be as straightforward as batch updates with entire generations added. It's really interesting because people are already having a difficulty catching all 151 Pokemon, let alone more generation and region specific Pokemon and country specific Pokemon. It's going to be kind of interesting, but that's kind of it. So we're just going through all this. So that's pretty much it. Other than that, we actually have the leaders. We have like official Pokemon Go leaders for your teams, just in case it was just like the faceless birds. Now there's actually people that represent what you do. So we have Candela, Blanche, and Spark. They got yellow and blue and red clothing, and they look like, you know, elite trainers that are all fancy and overdressed and whatnot. Then I guess to wrap up the video, I'll just do some extra news off of the Reddit, because there's some interesting things. People are scrambling for Ditto, and there's also conversations like this going on. Has anyone figured out swarm mechanics yet? There's a weird spot on nearby residential street that looks like this nearly every hour or so, and swarms are something that people have been trying to hunt down, because yeah, if you can have this happen every hour, that's absolutely nuts, and they're reliable, that there are places where Pokemon, either the same Pokemon spawn very regularly, or we just get batches of anywhere from 4 to 10 Pokemon just happening. Like, you go here every hour, that's a lot of Pokemon. That's 8 Pokemon. You pop a lure at your house, you're walking by Pokestops and stuff, you're going to be able to level up and grind really fast, which is going to be a very good thing. There's also some insight that's really interesting. I'd assume it's off of XM data. For example, my subdivision has a sharp corner that is a cellular dead zone. I drop 4 barcoals in it, and as soon as I get 4 feet outside the area, 4 Pokemon 6 spawn almost instantly every couple of hours. And there's other conversations about this, like how at malls, like usually when you go to a mall, the theater has a dead zone. Seems like it's just compensating for dead zones, and then that way, instead of like having Pokemon that should be spawning in there, they're spawning on the outside every once in a while to make up for it. My mall has swarms, and funny enough, some stores and movie theater has dead zones, and the very mall itself is the rest of the mall being fine, but it still has swarms. And it's all about cellular traffic and things like that, that the more traffic that an area gets, the more likely Pokemon are to spawn. But then with the dead zones, it compensates, and there's even like very rural areas that are having this happen in seemingly the middle of nowhere, and this seems like one of the reasons why. No one's too sure, but it's getting there. Like, we're figuring out some of these crazy things. And then the Ditto Easter egg thread. Oh my goodness, you guys are crazy. So here we go. So far, Ditto is the only non-legendary Pokemon that no one has captured yet. It's been confirmed recently that there are additional Easter eggs similar to the Evolution Easter egg. So people are thinking this has to be Ditto, that there has to be some kind of complex way of getting Ditto. And right now, people are going through it. So, Ditto in the game, Pokemon Snap is disguised as a Bulbasaur. Makes a first appearance in the episode Ditto's Mysterious Mansion as a Pikachu. And then Masters Transform when it imitates Meowth and things like that. So, people are like testing all kinds of theories. Snapping a picture of Bulbasaur. That did not work because it's trying to like get a picture of Bulbasaur to replicate a Ditto inside the game. Naming Meowth Ditto, naming Dratini Duplica. So everyone's trying like Ditto, Duplica, depending on all that, because Duplica is how Ditto is named in, I believe, Spanish or something like that. Theories yet to test. Ditto may be a South American exclusive Pokemon. Ditto's owner names Duplica with Spanish for duplicate. Can someone confirm this? So maybe since we don't know like where South America exclusives are, because we know Farfetch'd is Asia, I believe. Kangaskhan is going to be in Australia. Tauros is America, or like North America. And then we also have it to where Europe is Mr. Mime. So once we start getting people in South America, maybe that's where the Ditto one is. Pikachu has some unique sound when pressed. Perhaps Ditto is a Pikachu with a different sound bite. Ditto is said to untransform when laughing. So tickling the Pokemon in camera mode is a thing. So actually, that would be really crazy. This is going back to Ditto apparently untransforms when it starts laughing. I guess this is going from like the anime and any kind of old school Pokemon knowledge. So I guess the idea is if you take a little Pokemon before you encounter it, maybe there's like a 1 in very small chance that it's Ditto, and if you catch it before it untransforms like that, then you'll never find the Ditto. Bulbasaur does respond to Tickle when you're viewing it on your Pokemon list. If you press him, it does the attack animation. So does that mean you have to go through and tickle all of your Pokemon just to make sure? We're about to find out. Looks like people are now getting super serious about the Ditto ever since that one guy caught them all. And then right here, living that suburban life. That's a lot of candy. So we have 1,500 Rattata candy, 2,100 Pidgey candy, and 1,800 Drowsy candy. This guy, man, you pop a lucky egg, and he is going to get a ton of levels. But it just got shows. This is what we're dealing with right now. I see you're in no rush to evolve those Pidgeys. That's funny. Never even seen a Drowsy, and then he has like 1,000 plus Hypnos. So yeah, region things, live in areas, catching crazy Pokemon. If you guys have any ideas on Ditto, maybe I should make a video about this and get a larger community effort off my channel to get Ditto going, do some Ditto research. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I was thinking like maybe it'd be unnecessary since I'm making this video about it, but I think we can go deeper. We could try to hunt down the Ditto in Pokemon Go, since that's like the new hype right now. People are catching Dragonite as a natural spawn in New York, or people are just finding Dragonite wherever there's Dratini farms. So Dragonite isn't the big one. Now it's finding out how to get Mewtwo, the legendary birds, and Ditto, but Ditto's the obvious one. Like, it's not legendary. It has to be in the game. It's confirmed that there's Easter eggs and stuff, so it seems like we're going to get close to this. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave your Ditto hype down below. If you guys enjoy the video, please leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.